Hi, my name is Braaaaaad Breeeck. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how I made the TECHS theme song. TECHS is a show that was made by Nickelodeon, but ended up living on Netflix. And it's an awesome show. I had so much fun working on this show. I was reunited with my original composer boss, Eric Robles. He created this show with Dan Milano. I love the show and love doing the score and theme song for the show. The palette was right in my wheelhouse, indie rock with some chiptune elements and then also some big orchestral stuff. I was very thankful to have been asked to work on this show and to get to spend time in this world and with these characters. Anywho, I hope you enjoy this video and get something out of it. Enjoy! Okay, so this is my session for the TECHS theme song. A couple notes about this session, I guess. This session and these instruments were kind of developed before I started this theme song because I had already been working on the show. So some of the synth sounds and stuff that you will hear are the same synths and instruments that I used for the score. So this song, it's basically like a straightforward rock song with some kind of chiptune synths mixed in doing stuff. So how do I start one of these theme songs? How do I get into it? It's always different. It depends on how much detail the show creator has given me. Like sometimes they have specific musical references in mind. Sometimes it's pretty vague. In this case, we already had kind of an established palette of chiptune sounds, 8-bit sounds, and kind of like indie rock and punk rock and stuff. Anyways, I think it was pretty clear from the beginning that it would have chiptune elements and kind of like an indie rock or just punk rock or whatever feel. So the way I get started on this stuff is I will try anything I can to just get an idea going. Sometimes I'll walk around and sing into my phone. Sometimes I'll play guitar. Sometimes I'll play a synth or play drums or just mess around with sounds on the computer and chop stuff up. Anything I can do to just get an idea going. Because once you have like some nuggets, rough ideas and get a structure in place, it's kind of like paint by numbers to a certain extent. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll set up a track that's just either piano or guitar and a microphone, maybe with a click track, maybe not. And I'll just play guitar and sing, or play piano and sing, or a synthesizer or something, and just keep playing and find something. And usually I'll find a nugget that I like and I'll kind of build around that. And I just keep kind of like improvising and not worrying about how it sounds, just getting some ideas down that seem usable until I kind of have one or two parts that are good enough to kind of shape into a structure. And the hard part for me sometimes is like just the discipline to like say, okay, these are my two parts, now build a structure. I find that's a really important step when you're writing like score or like a song. It's like get a structure in place. And once you have that, for me, once I have that structure in place, for some reason, I suddenly feel kind of free. All I need to do is fill in that structure now. And it's not hard to put a structure in place. Sometimes it just requires a little bit of discipline to be like, okay, I'm gonna do this here and this here and this here. And I just put markers, visual markers in ProTools to show me where those different parts are, create a click track around that sometimes. And once I have that, it's like I can work pretty quickly often. It's kind of just getting stuff down and refining. Anyway, so moving on to what is in the session. Let's start with the drums. So all the drums for this song are this plugin, Addictive Drums, which these are just drum samples in the computer. They're samples, like a sample drum kit, right? I love this thing. I use this thing all day long. You can do pretty much anything with it. It's got, all kinds of drums, like any kind of drum you could think of. It's probably in here. There's like Latin drums and stuff. You can shape the sound really easily. There's tons of great presets. This is what I use all day long for drums. I have real drums and I have a studio where I can record drums, but it depends on what I'm doing. But if I'm just scoring or writing a theme song like this, I will usually use this because I can work much faster and I can get a really good sound really quickly. Now, I will say one kit by itself for some reason never seems to be quite enough, and that's probably just a limitation of my own ability and indecisiveness or something. So you can see I have 4 different instances of addictive drums here. I usually start with one and I like, that sounds awesome, and then I'm like, wait, it doesn't sound awesome enough. Let's layer another kit on top of it. And it's like, well, it's still not awesome enough, so I better do one that's just kick and snare, and you know, I'll just layer them on. And then I'll also treat each individual kit. Like it's this preset, Drum Bus Vintage, which I just tweak a little bit. It's adding brightness, and it's adding low end, and it's adding, like, the compressor's adding some excitement and thickness. You can see these three are just, you know, I'm basically just changing the amount of brightness and thickness on these three. This revival thing is really good. I don't know, it probably sounds good to me because it looks cool, but whatever, you know, I'm not a real engineer. I just do what sounds good to me. Let's go track by track. So this one is this, this is my preset called Basic Dumb 90s Pop Rock 3. Here's what these drums sound like. Just writing on the crash. So it's kind of just, you know, like a dumb rock kit. And fill at the end. Right? And so then this one I have this one layered on top of it. This one is called, so this is a Addictive Drums preset called United Pop Acoustic Pop. And I just have this layered on top to create more thickness. So hear those two together. Take this one off. It just creates, you know, it's a little bigger, more exciting. It sounds a little more realistic to me. Okay, so this next kit is just a crash. So these are two different crashes in this. It's the same United Pop kit, and I think I just did that to try to have more control of the level of the crashes, because you want the crashes to pop through, to punctuate and create energy for the different sections. Crashes create energy, blah, blah. This I call Rock Punch Support. This is probably modified from a preset. I'll use this to layer on top of stuff sometimes. It's got this bell brass snare. Oh, it looks like I muted. At one point I had this crash going. So this is only snare. This is just snare. So let me show you what that sounds like with the rest of the stuff. That's with it off. Oh crap. So it's like a little that gated verb snare thing going on. It's just to add, you know, to get the snare to punch through more. This same preset. And this is Gatey 80 drums preset from this Verb Suite Classics, just to get some of that gated snare excitement. A bit of more attack and reduce sustain from this Transient Designer plugin. And then some of the Shep's Omni-Channel thing. I used the snare 2 preset and tweaked it. This plugin is awesome. It's so good. I used a lot of the presets. I don't care. I have no hesitation to use a preset and tweak it. Like in this case, Andrew Sheps made this preset. He's a better engineer than me. Of course, the snare that he made that preset with was probably different than the snare I'm using, but still it made my snare sound way better. So like, I'm fine using a preset.
I care about the music.
You know, whatever, like, I don't know. I use presets, I don't care. So those are the drums. Next, the bass. Okay, so this is a DI'd bass. I don't know if I've ever recorded bass through an amp. I just always recorded DI bass because, I don't know, it worked for Motown, works for me. The thing I use on like every bass is this thing, this Chris Lord-Alge, what is it called? CLA bass. This thing is awesome. It takes your dumb sounding DI bass and makes it sound really great. I always use this thing. I also have a little tuner on it. This is my tuner. I have some more Shep's Omni-Channel on this. This one, look, I'm not using a preset. Full reset. I started from scratch. I'm an expert. I am a real engineer because, whatever. I think I'm just using this for a little, this isn't doing anything. Nothing's turned on this. I don't know why I have this plugin on here. See, I don't know what I'm doing. A little DBX 160 bass guitar preset, because it's a bass guitar. Yeah, you know, DBX 160 sound cool on bass. All right, so I have 2 channels here. I have this one. You know, it's a bass guitar, rock and roll bass guitar. I think I used I use this bass. This is a Fender Jazz bass. It's only for jazz, but I'm using it in this rock song because it's a jazz bass. Anyways, so I use this Fender Jazz bass. Here's what it sounds like. So that's with the CLA plugin turned off. Listen to all those pops and clicks that I didn't remove because I'm not a professional. I usually do fix that stuff. I don't know why I didn't this time. I was probably just working fast and got lazy. That's with the CLA on. So it makes it sound like, you know, a mixed rock bass. It works a lot. It makes it sound more like it's through an amp or something. Yeah. All right, so then I have this other bass channel. And this one is just distortion. Oh, that's why I have this on here. So this is through a pedal. This is through a distortion pedal. I think it's the clear glass pedal. I can't remember what it's called. Anyways, it's like a parallel distortion channel just to give it some more aggression and thickness. That's the bass. Next, let's look at the guitars. So these guitars were recorded with this guitar. This is a guitar. It's called Fender Squier Jazzmaster. It's red and gold. I don't really know anything about guitars. I'm not a good guitar player. That guitar looks cool to me, and that's why I own it. And I also thought it had different pickups than my other guitars, so I thought it would sound different. And I've seen people who I think are cool playing guitars like that, so I thought I would be cool if I had a guitar like that. That's why I have that guitar. It's not a fancy guitar. I don't own any fancy guitars, like expensive guitars. I kind of think expensive guitars are bullshit. Anyways, here's what that cool guitar sounds like. Nice chord. I love doing this stuff. Any kind of like pop punk thing like that, I'm all about it. I forgot to mention here that I recorded the guitars through a Kemper profiling amp, this thing, and a pedal. I think the pedal was an Earthquaker gray channel. I'm pretty sure, not 100%. So all my guitars are going to this bus, this guitar bus. And that bus has this heavy guitar preset on it. And I probably tweaked that. I probably tried some presets and that one sounded good. And then I have a bunch of really weird EQ on here. Looks like I was mostly cutting some like weird resonances around here. Here's without the preset, without the plugins. It's quieter, so it's hard to tell. That's the guitar. That's that first guitar. Okay. For this kind of guitar stuff, I almost always record one and pan it hard left and one and pan it hard right. I think sounds like this style of music, pop punk. It makes it, you know, exciting and full. So here's what the main guitars sound like. Pulling out a little resonance on this one. So you can hear in the left guitar on that one, there's that weird wrong sounding note, which is like, I think me playing, like accidentally strumming the wrong string, and that's what I was trying to, I was trying to get rid of that bad note. And then this is just, it's just another double of the same part to make it even bigger. So here are all the guitars together. I mean, maybe you could do the same thing by just turning up the main guitar. I don't know, whatever. Okay, synths. So we have 4 synths in here. This one is called Sonic Guitar 2. This is a contact instrument, but I have this hosted on my sampler machine. It's on a PC in a separate room. It's hosted inside this thing called Vienna Ensemble Pro, which allows you to host plugins outside of your main DAW. It's just to offload some of the CPU to a different machine, but it's the same as if it was in Pro Tools. Anyway, so this is a contact instrument. This was sampled by a guy named Drew Jordan, who's an amazing sound designer designer and computer tech. He made a bunch of these little sampled like Sega Genesis instruments for me that I use a lot in the show. It's a guitar sound from the Sega Genesis music chip. So, you know, it's got like kind of a big crushed sound. Very like chiptune-y, lo-fi. And it's very like kind of alias sounding. And there's a lot of like those little bends, I think, are just pitch bend automation. That first thing at the beginning, the and this thing, I try to, in all the theme songs where I can, create a little musical moment like that at the beginning or end of the theme song that can be used as a transitional element in the show, or just like it's like an audio, it's like a musical logo. It could be really useful for the show and the showrunners and for branding, and it's just fun to have something like that. Like when you hear it, you know, oh, that's Glitch TECHS, that's from the Glitch TECHS theme song. And they actually used this in the show, so every time they capture a glitch with their gauntlet, they use this sound, which is pretty cool. So now we're back in Vienna Ensemble Pro again. This is a plugin called Chip Sounds. It's made by a company called Plogue or Plog, Plogue, and it's like an emulator for old video game and console sounds. This was a preset. I don't know how to program this plugin. There's some things I can figure out, but a lot of it is kind of impenetrable for me. So a lot of times I just use the presets for this thing. But this one is called FX X Swords Play High. I might have tweaked this a little bit, but so here's what this synth sounds like. It's very like kind of like, yeah, again, like retro chiptune type of lead sound. And that one combines with this one, like this. Kind of adds some attack and some high register energy. Okay, and let's check out the next one. This one's called Seek Food, like sequencer food. Back in Vienna Ensemble. This is another instance of chip sounds by Plogue or Plog. I don't know what this preset was. I might have made this one from scratch, which is unlikely because this plugin is so annoying to program for me. Here's what it sounds like. I think this was a preset of some kind. I might have changed the parameters a little bit. So, and this one has a little panning, auto panning going on from this Pan Man. Some Shep's Omni channel. I used this guitar preset and tweaked that. And there's some Echo Boy on here for delay and some Valhalla Vintage Verb. If you don't have these plugins already, the Valhalla plugins, I highly recommend them because they are inexpensive and they sound extremely good. Oh yeah, and then so this one up here that we listen to, this has a little Echo Boy on it. This gives it like a little bit more bounce and dimension. Here's this without any plugins on it. Plugins on this guy are, so we got, what am I doing with this? A little bit of EQ, compression, and like some saturation. That makes it louder. And then, just a little bit of delay, almost kind of like a slap, just to create a little more dimension with that. And then this other one, K Swords Wet. This is, I think it's a similar preset to this. So it's like that same, it's the same as this one up here, but a lower register. Who knows? So here's all the synths together. That's all the synths. Vocals next. I'll start with my vocals.
Who knows what really happens when a video game starts to glitch?
That's me on a microphone. I have some auto-tune. I don't know why I have auto-tune on there because
who knows what really happened?
It's just talking, whatever. So we got this vocals preset tweaked with this stuff. This doubled vocal preset. These days I would put these vocal effects on a separate channel and send to them. I don't know, back then for some reason I was putting my vocal effects on the actual channel, which is not ideal. It doesn't give you as much flexibility. So I got this doubled vocal preset.
Who knows what really happens when a video game starts to glitch?
Just kind of pushes it back and creates a little dimension.
Who knows what really happens when a video game starts to glitch?
So I'm using this Kramer tape thing as a slap delay, which I think that's a great slap delay. And then my background vocal.
Glitch text, whoa.
So this is embarrassing. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. So I think these vocals were left over from the original version I did of this, like the demo version. I was singing in a lower key, and then when we brought Melody Carrillo in to sing it, we pitched it up a little to fit her vocal range. So I pitched my background vocals up to match hers.
Glitch text, whoa.
So these are going through this. Oh yeah! Doubled vocal preset. Another double vocal preset. Why? Why did I do that? And then vocal slap. All right, and what's this?
Glitch text!
Oh yeah, and then we have some of this Andrew Shep's thing. I used one of his vocal presets and probably tweaked it. And there's auto-tune on there, because you know I got auto-tune on my voice. I mean, come on.
Glitch text!
And so these background vocals, you see I have them pan left and right a little bit to create some space.
Glitch text!
Here's another one.
Glitch text! Whoa.
So here you go. You know what I do. So those are my vocals in this thing. So the main event, here are Melody's vocals. Let's look at her effects first. We have that slate thing, double vocal, another double vocal. Why? I don't know why I did that. Why not just turn up the wet on this one, dummy? Whatever. And then this thing again.
Here come the glitch checks, they know what to do, they got the tech, they got the moves. Glitch checks, they're the wrecking crew, they'll solve the problem. Glitch checks, when a glitch is loose, they'll wipe them out, let's go new. Glitch checks always coming through to solve the problem. Glitch checks, whoa.
Yeah, she's awesome. And you'll see I have everything doubled. I probably do this too much. Like, I think I rely on doubling more than I should. Rather than just focusing on one vocal, it would be stronger. But I don't know, I'm in the habit of recording doubles and layering a double under everything.
Here come the glitch checks, they know what to do, they got the tech, they got the moves.
I think it just creates a little more excitement for something like this. So then she has a little auto-tune on there, and some of this Shep's Vocal 3 preset. So when I track vocals with people, I find that to be a very stressful situation because you want to make sure you get everything, but you also want to try to organize what you're doing as you do it, because like you end up with just tons and tons of vocal takes. And so what I will sometimes do is just create a bunch of tracks, and I'll just record first line here, second line here, and then I can easily comp the different lines together. For something like this, like usually the person maybe they've heard the song once or twice, but they don't know the song. It's not like it's their band where they know the song and they can just sing it all the way through. So I'll usually do it in short phrases, like maybe to get warmed up, we'll play the song a bunch of times and they'll sing through it, and I'll record all that stuff. And sometimes like there's great stuff in there, but usually it takes a little bit for them to learn the melody and get it to the point that it's natural and they're hitting all the notes. So I kind of drill in on each line and get it as good as we can, and then I'll comp within that. I think that's all the instruments. It's not a very big session. It's guitar, bass, drums, vocals, and then these synths that are all pretty much playing the same thing. There's not a lot going on in the session. So that is the Glitch TECHS theme song. I hope you learned some stuff from that, or at least enjoyed it and got something out of it. Please comment below if you have any questions or thoughts. I will try to respond. I will also try to follow up with more videos about Glitch TECHS. Thank you so much for being my friend and for watching. Bye!